Hello there gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters, it's good news, and this show is the start of a slightly different format that I'm going to do. What I am going to do is I'm going to structure this good news so that you get all the toy news for free right here on YouTube. Because I was thinking to myself, how can I try to cultivate a little extra Patreon support? Because, you know, Papa needs a new pair of shoes. But to be fair, I gotta give you something that's worth your money. Because let's face it doesn't grow on trees and we've all got to make ends meet. So, normally on Good News, you know how it goes. I talk about all the toy news, and then I go on to movies, comic books, video games, pro wrestling, cosplay corner, customs, all that kind of stuff. Well, that's the stuff that's going to go into Patreon from now on. So I'm going to film the whole episode, I'm going to do the toys, and then bam! We're going to cut things off, and then if you want to watch all the other news about the extra stuff, then you can go over to Patreon to watch the full video, which will go up before the one on YouTube. I figure that's not a bad way of giving a little extra bang for your buck for the Patreon supporters, while also actually not taking away the toy news, because honestly, I actually just wouldn't do that. I really enjoy talking about toys and having the conversations, because a lot of people said, hey, if good news is your most popular thing, why don't you put that on Patreon? And I'll tell you why, because I don't want to lose the discussion, because I really love doing this. So this is always going to be here with the toys, and then if you want to support the channel further, you can go over to Patreon and you can watch all the other extra bits that are on the end. Pretty much doubles the length of good news. So yeah, that's what we're doing. And with that in mind, let's talk about the toys. That's not the expression. It's normally, let's talk about it. But I didn't structure the previous sentence to make that work. Now this is all a bit awkward. Coming in hot with the action figure news, we got to talk about the Marvel Legends 2-pack Army Builder, Shield Agent, and Hydra Agent. Yep, Hasbro, you've done it again. You've given us something that actually we really, really want, we can sink our teeth into, and I got to say, we're kind of getting our money's worth for as well. $50. This is going to cost. So $25 a piece, and you get one figure for each one of your armies, your Hydra and your AIM, and they have multiple heads, they've got multiple hands and accessories. Each one of these sold individually, I think, is a fair $25 figure. So pack them both together, the maths works out, it makes sense. It's not like we're living in Bizarro world like we were last year, where somehow the bean counters went, okay, so we're saving money by only shipping one product, let's charge them more than if we sold the content separately. That didn't work. And it really kind of ground the gears of your most loyal collectors. So well done, Hasbro, for doing an about turn on that. But again, I always try to limit my praise in that regard, because I shouldn't praise someone for stopping doing something bad and going back to doing something good. But this is something good. I love the different display options. You've got the masks and the 3 mask-less faces. That's probably the easiest way to put it, isn't it? Maskless. And each one of them, these 3 lady faces, they all look good. I would have preferred, me like a bit more of a sneer going on with a couple of them. They're a bit plain Jane. But you know what? I'm not gonna begrudge that. It's nice to also have different civilian heads as well. Because if you just want to have your army builders all built up with their masks, to be honest, I'd probably be inclined to do. I mean, what is this? Hydra's Casual Friday? No, they should all be in full uniform. Therefore, you've got all these different female heads for action figure photography, different poses, stick them on your Mary Janes or whatever. That's great options right there. So on the whole, I got to say, Hasbro, you done good, lads. You done good. Going over to Revoltek now, and they've shown off their Batman Catwoman figure, and this is kind of not my cup of tea. I don't think it's difficult. When I first saw a preview picture, I thought, oh, hello, sailor. But then looking a bit closer, I was like, I'm not sure about the anime sort of facial designs. But then with the goggles down, kind of takes away that issue, really. So the more I look at these promo shots, the more it kind of starts to win me over. You know me, I'm not a big Batman guy, I'm not a big DC guy, so I can afford to kind of just observe this from afar. I'm holding out for my Revoltek, Thor, and Moon Knight. Them's gonna be the money ones for me. But yeah, looking at this pose right here, it's cute, it's sexy, it's fun, it's Catwoman. So after initially not being that bothered, I'm now with the whip and the goggles down. Yeah, I won't guess her, but also the jewelry, the stash there. That's a really fun accessory. You can use that with all sorts of characters. I kind of dig that. You know, the more I'm looking at this figure, the more I'm like, yeah, maybe you deserve that price. The price is going to be about 10,000 yen, which is approximately $70, give or take. And pre-orders are going up in a couple of days. So if you want to start building this Batman Revoltek collection, well, she's going to be a pretty essential item to add to that. On to the next thing. And back to the US with Neca revealing their Comic-Con exclusive Ghostface. And this, okay, I love a nice looking package. And this is a nice looking package. This is a Lex Luger total package type thing. So it's all the most New York-y elements of Ghostface from Scream 6. I gotta say, I kind of enjoyed Scream 6, but not that much. I don't know why my brain said Scream 3. I've seen 3 more movies since then. Because Scream, because it's not supernatural, it can only really follow the same sort of formula over and over and over again. And because it's not something like a Friday the 13th, or even like a Final Destination, where you go there to see how imaginative the kills are, I feel it kind of runs out of steam. It's like, how's this person gonna die? Are they gonna get stabbed? Probably. Oh yes, they did. But don't worry, they survived because we like that character and we'll use them for the sequel. That was my quick review of Scream 6. So here we've got all these different masks. You got the pride mask, the bloody mask, the ghosty one. There's a lot of stuff. So if you are a big Scream fan, and I would say I am a big Scream fan, I'm just a little bit of a exhausted Scream fan. I shouldn't have binged the last 2 movies to get up to date for the 6th one. That was probably what did it for me. If I limit my Scream viewing to 1 movie a year, I think that's adequate. But yeah, doing the ripped up I Heart New York, speaking of Friday the 13th, totally a similar idea to what they did about 30 years ago. But hey, you know, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, and that's what Scream's all about, really. So yeah, no word on where you can get this outside of New York Comic Con, but, you know, if we find out, then via me, you're gonna find out. McFarlane keep on coming, and they don't stop coming with a vampire Green Lantern. Just Todd must be licking his lips anytime there's some kind of supernatural, monstery kind of crossover in DC Comics. He's like, don't worry, I'm already on it. Now my Todd McFarlane's becoming more of a J. Jonah Jameson. And get me pictures of Spider-Man and some kind of Batman variant. Spider-Batman! That's going to be on toy shelves tomorrow. So now we've got vampire Green Lantern. I've not read the story. That's hardly a big shocker. Yeah. I ain't read much recently. Too busy making videos. But the face sculpt looks really nice. And I love the luminescent Green Lantern energy coming off of this guy. It looks cool. It looks fun. I wouldn't want it even if I was a hardcore DC person. I don't need a billion different versions, says the dude who used to collect Spider-Verse, which is literally a billion different Spider-Men. Hey, I'm not being hypocritical. I'm just saying what my thing is and what my thing isn't. Vampires never really did it for me, and not vampire mashups with Green Lantern characters. Nonetheless, though, the mechanics of this figure, the sculpting, the design, the paintwork, it looks pretty nice. So if you want him, pretty soon, you can get him. Another quick one from DC Multiverse, we've got the Sinestro Corps Green Lantern Sinestro. Was that second Sinestro redundant? I don't know. Not up on my Green Lantern lore, or my Yellow Lantern, or any colour for that matter. Nonetheless, though, Sinestro's here. And again, what can I say about McFarlane? It looks like a perfectly adequate McFarlane figure. I can't add much more than that. Your eyes will do the talking for me. There you go. Make of it what you will. It's Sinestro. He's got a ring. He's powered by fear? Is that it? I think so. Either way, he looks alright. And McFarlane have also posted an image of their Black Lightning DC Multiverse Walmart exclusive figure. There's another name in that title as well. Final something? I Final Crisis? Final Fantasy? I don't know, I can't keep up with all the sub names and whatnot. Regardless, it's this dude. As soon as I saw the costume, I was like, different Nightwing character? But no, of course not. Black Lightning, that's the guy. And yep, it's just another promo shot, but it's nice to see what's coming out. And again, he looks fine. You know me, I'm not a huge McFarlane guy. But for those folks who are, this guy's going to be here for you. You know something that oddly kind of flew under the radar? At least for me. The Star Wars Vintage Collection HasLab Ghost Ship Kickstarter. It's funded already. I don't know, did this kind of fly under the radar, or is my thumb just not on the pulse at all? I think it's the latter, isn't it? But yes, this thing has reached its first tier of being funded, so it's a happening. And that is in itself quite impressive, because the asking price for this, strap yourself down if you're not ready, it's $500. It's a lot of money. I'm not saying it ain't worth it. I'm just saying that is a lot of money for people to fork out, especially in this here economy. And again, I bet the Marvel Legends guys are like, geez, do we have to like just do this HasLab? We're about to announce our HasLab. And the Star Wars guys and G.I. Joe guys are like, hey, sucks to be you. You better come out swinging. Better give us something that we want. And look, for you vintage collectors, I can understand that this is a big deal. I've never seen Star Wars Rebels, but with the Ahsoka show coming out pretty soon, like, this is going to be a hot property. So I suppose it doesn't surprise me that this vintage collection with, I can see here, all the extra little starships and the characters, you're getting some good bang for your buck. And looking at the interiors, I mean, just take a look at the amount of paintwork and sculpting and little itty-bitty detail on there. That's some nice work. I love that they got the chess set in there as well. That's terrific. So yeah, this doesn't tickle my pickle at all. But for you Star Wars vintage collectors, I can consider your pickle tickled. And it's interesting that they've got that slightly... Is it a slightly animated sort of look to them? Or is it just like, that's just how vintage figures look? Regardless, this is a fun-looking set. I mean, hey, look, the sail barge did fantastically. The not Boba Fett, the Mandalorian ship, I forget its name. Don't worry, it'll come to me. It's not like it's lost knowledge. I just can't access it right now. But this looks like another great addition to that. If you have a big vintage collection and you're getting all these HasLabs, you've got a pretty amazing fleet of starships going on. So yeah, it's a good time to be a vintage collector. So come on, Marvel Legends, you guys are up next. Star Ace Toys are about to pity the fool with their new Clubber Lang 1/6 scale action figure. So basically think Hot Toys, but not Hot Toys, a different company, but making those kind of high-end, super realistic, la-di-da, how's your father, here's all the accessories type 1/6 scale action figures. They got the mean-looking B.A. Baracus, Mr. T kind of facial likeness and expression there. I don't necessarily know, like, how perfect it is. I always felt Mr. T in the Rocky movies felt a little thicker. But I don't know, maybe that's probably just my childhood memory, remembering what he looked like when I was 8 years old watching Rocky 3. But yeah, this is a nice looking piece. It's $250 or $300 if you're going to get the deluxe version, which comes with more street clothes. But it's going to be revealed, not revealed, I'm revealing it right now. What am I saying? I'm not revealing it. This came out weeks ago. I'm just late to the party. But he's going to be released around about the fourth quarter of this year. And look, if you want to commemorate the best Rocky movie out there, and I'll fight you on that one, Rocky 3 is such a good time, then you could do a lot worse than getting this figure. It looks very pretty. Hiya Toys have shown off their 1/12 scale Leatherface figure. Now this is kind of cool just to see Hiya Toys doing more 1/12 scale figures, because they're doing loads of cool properties, mainly for me, RoboCop, but they've been in the 1/18 scale kind of category, and it's not what I'm after. I need my 6-inch scale. So the fact that they're doing more and more 1/12 means that soon I might finally get a new 1/12 scale RoboCop. And I know that Neca's one is out there, but that one doesn't really do it for me. They could have tried harder to update that figure. So this Leatherface is the design based on the newest movie, which I haven't seen, even though I wouldn't say I'm a big fan, but I enjoy the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. But I've heard the new one is like real bad, like real hard to watch. So I'm probably not going to bother with it. You know, Life's too short. You gotta make good decisions. That's why I'm gonna go see Barbie tomorrow. First of all, I'm gonna go for dinner at a restaurant called Barbacoa. So we're gonna do a little Barbie Barbacoa. That's just, we can't do Oppenheimer because Oppenheimer's not out here. So Barbenheimer's not a thing. But Barbie Bacoa? Yeah, it's a happening. Anyway, this action figure is going to be about $60 and hopefully released around about the first quarter of next year. You can see he's got the blood, the severed hands, the accessories, the heads, the chainsaw. Everything you want for a grim, gruesome Leatherface figure. Certainly not something I would want on my shelf. I like pretty things on my shelf. But if you're a horror fan, then you might want to pick him up. 3-0 are releasing their 1/6 scale, not going to edit that, 1/6 scale John Rambo figure. So again, Hot Toys kind of scale and size, but this time immortalizing John Rambo from the original. Is it the original? No, First Blood Part 2. From the sequel to the original Rambo movie. I don't know, I thought he just looked more like he did in the original, but it's been a long time since I've seen those movies. Again, it looks decent. I've not had much interaction with 3-0, like the large scale figures, but their smaller Transformers, beautiful. Beautiful figures. So this is going to be $200 and he's going to be available around about the third quarter of this year. So not far off. He's already up for pre-order on places like Big Bad Toy Store and whatnot. So you can go and check him out over there. But yeah, seeing the likeness, I mean, it's very impressive. And it makes me want to go and watch the first Rambo movie again because that's, to this new current generation of folks, it's a very underrated movie. If you've not seen the first Rambo movie, it's not just some crazy explosion action fest. It's like a deep psychological drama character portrait about PTSD and coming home from war. It's a pretty amazing movie. Then they go cuckoo bananas after that, but that first one, that's a banger. Go watch that and maybe order this action figure. Sideshow Collectibles. I've been talking about Hot Toys so much. Now let's do Sideshow Collectibles. They are doing a David from the Lost Boys figure, and this is my nostalgia 80s movie watching childhood right here. Kiefer Sutherland, such a badass, and this figure 1/6 scale. Again, you kind of Hot Toys like this is exactly it. Hot Toy scale, and it looks like a great homage to everything that was awesome about the 80s and vampire movies. He's got the normal face, he's got the vampire face, he's even got gruesome vampire feet so he can hang upside down. There's a lot of fun accessories going on with this. That Lost Boys, I mean, hey, look, I'm not going to say it's a forgotten classic, because it's not. It's a nostalgic gem. People still remember it, but dang it, they should remember it even more, because even the soundtrack alone, man, that's what 80s soundtracks are all about. I'm going to go and listen to the Lost Boys soundtrack after this, with greased up saxophone dude and singing through the night, Lost Boys. Such a good time. Guys, okay, that's your required reading for today. Rambo, First Blood, and Lost Boys. Get a little dose of the 80s. You'll feel all the better for it. Now, a big issue of discussion recently is the new Neca animated Ninja Turtles sewer-lair diorama. This is expensive. It's $300, but dioramas are difficult to make, as I have been discovering, and I'm still working on putting mine together. But when I think about how much time and money and effort I've put into trying to make my own diorama, which I'm not that happy with, I would be better off spending $300 on a professionally made one that I would actually like the look of. Because people are saying, $300 for like this plastic? Like, come on, that's not worth it. And honestly, if the alternative is paying someone bespoke to make one, which is one individual person's effort is going to be costing a lot more than that, I would have thought, unless you get one heck of a bargain, or trying to do it yourself, I think this is actually the better option, especially for a layman like myself. So $300 gets you this big piece. It's as wide as the Neca Street Scene diorama, so you can actually stack that on top of it if you want to. I think that's what they do in one of the photos. I assume that fits. Yes, it does, because it has a roof to it. So really, it's a big bit of kit. If I was still collecting my Neca Turtles, I'd be real tempted. I mean, look at that. That's kind of awesome right there. Yeah, the more I look at it, the more I think, Dave, you should have kept your Neca animated turtles. And then no, I shouldn't have, because then I would be spending $300 on this, where instead I'm not collecting any of them, so I can just enjoy them from afar. Also, for another $50, they're doing this accessory pack as well, so that you can decorate your display even more. And again, folks might be saying, hey, you know what, for that price, for the $300, wow, words are suddenly hard. For the $300, we should be getting the accessory pack with it. I don't know. Again, it's up to you. It's what you think. It's what you want to spend your money on. I don't think I'd necessarily need the accessory pack. I would happily just get the diorama itself because, yeah, it looks good, man. And you think how much the individual 2-packs cost and things. Like, for $300 for this, I don't know. I wouldn't pay it myself, but at the same time, I'm not going to lambast them for charging that because it's a nice looking piece. Star Ace Toys are doing a 30cm soft vinyl Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and this has just been an episode for 80s nostalgia goodness, and this is another big one as well. I gotta say, 1984, Ghostbusters ruled the world, and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was iconic ever since. And it's not really necessarily a difficult design to put together, not the most intricate in the world, but then again, because of that, you can recreate it with like the most perfect accuracy. I mean, yes, of course, these are promotional pictures, but nonetheless, you look at that and you're like, yep, that's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. That's exactly how he looked in the movie, even down to this more sinister sort of grinning expression. That's what we're looking for. So he's going to be expensive. He's about $195, but it's a big figure. 30 centimeters is... It's a lot of centimeters. Didn't know what to compare that to. Well, your normal ruler at school. Most school rulers are 30 centimeters, aren't they? I can't remember what they were. I just remember like people whacking each other on the butt with them. That's school kids are the worst. Anywho, this figure is not the worst. This figure looks like, well, maybe not the best. I don't know. There's a lot of figures out there. Still, it does look pretty good. Now, this is one that's got me real excited. Heat Boys have shown full reveal images of their Mech Raphael. I was trying to get the right name for these things. I kept saying Mech Boys Heat Raphael. It's the giant Raphael Megazord. And yeah, I've got my Leonardo here, who I absolutely love. And dang it, I almost wish I didn't have him, because the minute I got him, I was like... I'm gonna have to get all of these now, because honestly, you see the joy in my face. This is joy of knowing that good action figures are on the way. This Heat Boys Leonardo, he's made of die-cast metal, man. He weighs a ton. You could beat someone to death with it. And then you wouldn't want to dispose of the murder weapon because it's so darn beautiful. You put it up on the shelf and then Colonel Mustard would get the blame. That's how I play Clue. Anyway, this Raphael, I love that each turtle I've seen from the concept designs, they all have their own gimmicks. So Raphael has the huge claws and the drill bits. Look at that, just what a thing of beauty this is. And like I said, I can't over stress how heavy and chunky this thing is. And also just the design display options you can have with these guys. You can take off so much of the armor, reposition it, and look at the size. Look at the size of this Leonardo. He's heavy, man. He is this is some heavy duty turtle booty right here. And look, you know me, I'm not getting any money from Heat Boys or anything, but I call them like I see them, and this thing is beautiful. So that's going to be beautiful. They're doing a Splinter, they're doing a Shredder, they're doing an April, they're doing a transforming turtle van. What a time to be alive. Okay, look, you got to go join the Patreon now. All right, that's it. All right, put cards on the table. Okay, at least if you do, you know that your money's going to go to a good place. It's not going to go to essentials like utilities and bills or anything like that. No, I'm going to buy action figures with it. I'm going to buy awesome action figures with it. I'm going to review them, because that's model behavior. Storm Collectibles, when you do, or more specifically, why you do this. When you do from Getsu Fumaden. I had to double check the name there. I've got the game, I've played it, it's awesome. This guy is one of the villains, one of the enemies in the game. Like, that's cool, but to quote every classic internet YouTuber phrase, who asked for this? Look, I'm not an idiot. Okay, look, I can be an idiot, but I know that Storm Collectibles aren't, and they're not going to make something that they don't think is going to make money. So obviously they feel that there is a market for this, people do want it, and they're going to pay cash for it, so more power to them. I hope that they do make money from it, but dang it, come on! When you're still holding out on Mortal Kombat characters, Street Fighter characters, we still don't have Blaze from Streets of Rage? Come on, guys! You're giving us this weird monster head on a wheel. It's not what I was asking for. But that's just me being grouchy, and you know me, I love to have a good moan, but always in good humor. I mean, it looks bizarrely brilliant, but it's just so odd when there are other Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Streets of Rage, and all the other fighting game franchises that you do crying out to complete their rosters. You're making some weird ass stuff, Storm Collectibles, and dang it, I'm almost kind of impressed. Tekken 2. Where are the other Tekken figures? No, we got Johnny McWheelhead. It's bizarre. Mondo had a preview event where they showed off more of their 1/6 scale animated figures. We've seen a whole bunch of their X-Men stuff, and damn it, they're doing animated Spider-Man. Thank goodness I have the strength, the resolve to not go down this rabbit hole, because you guys know, or at least most of you do, animated Spider-Man from 1994, that's what got me into Marvel, Spider-Man, comics, everything. This was what kickstarted it. This and a bunch of trading cards I got from entering an NBA Jam contest on the Mega Drive hosted by Blockbuster Video. Those two things were what got me into comics. And now they're doing regular Peter Parker with the goblin mask, unmasked head, and all these web effects. Then we've got the black costume as well. I mean, gosh, if they do a 1/6 scale animated Venom, I might feel froggy. I might feel froggy for that one. Then also back to the X-Men, we've got classic Scott Summers with some massive optic blast effects, plus a removable jacket as well. Rogue here. Dang it, Mondo. You know toy collectors don't have limitless funds. Even the richest of toy collectors will run out of money eventually. I'm sure Mondo are like, yeah, and it'll happen when it happens. Until then, we're going to keep going back to the well. So we got the Mask of the Phantasm figure here as well. Mask of the Phantasm is widely regarded as being like the auteurs, one of the greatest Batman movies. I never got into it. Maybe I found it a bit slow, but maybe I was just too young to appreciate it. I should go back and watch it again and give it a second chance. Then we've got a Masters of the Universe glider sled here. Sky sled. There you go. All I had to do was read the word in front of me. Evelyn. 1/6 scale Evelyn. Jeez Louise. You guys are spoiling us. Teela as well. You can see I'm seeing some of these photos for the first time as well. So these are news to me. But dang, well, Orko. Orko's only slightly more popular than Snarf, I think. But look, if you're doing a full collection, you gotta have Orko. And then, yeah, back to Spider-Man. What a set this is. What a time to be alive. Not a good time to be poor, though. Real bad time for that. Going over to something that's almost like, it feels more like high art than action figures. Fury Toys, who have been making the amazing looking shark gangster figures, they're doing this lion monster, which just looks, yeah, it looks like a statue. Sorry, got a little bit gassy there. It looks like a statue kind of come to life. It's beautiful. At first I thought it was an unpainted prototype. And then I looked a little closer and I saw that no, this does have paint. This has shading. This has weathering. It's made to look like a statue that has been stood outside, at the victim of the elements, the wind, the rain, the sleet, the snow for years and years on end. And it's just weathered and badass now. And now it's been brought to animated life. And Fury Toys, man. Demon Force. Wow, what does that say? Baymax Use Hobby Island, or Hobbyland. I'm not sure if that's where it's ordered from or not. I'm trying to find out some more of the information. But, yes, this is the first. This is the first of the 3 Demon Kings. I think there's going to be an elephant one they're doing as well, and something else, maybe a hippo. Geez. I'm a little disappointed that they are this kind of sort of, what am I trying to say, like ivory-looking stone kind of statues. I would have preferred something a bit more fourré with the paint jobs, but that's the direction they're going. And look, you can't fault the sculpting by the looks of it. It just looks stunningly beautiful. Really, really crazy. So I don't have any further information on prices or release dates or anything. This is just some preview images that I've seen put up. Most of these last ones are from Eric Fullen on the Facebook group. Thank you so much for putting all this news out here, Eric. It makes the show more interesting to have news to talk about, and that's down to you. So yeah, this dude looks awesome. When I find out more, I'll let you know. And folks, that does it for the action figure news for today. What did you think about the various items covered? Comment below, let me know. But we're not done for good news yet, because now we move into the Patreon section of the show. So gang, if you're watching on the regular YouTube feed, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this, smash that like button or subscribe or any of those other things you can do. It's hugely appreciated. And I'll see you next time. And now it's time for the Patreon section. So we got movies, video games, comic books, pro wrestling, all different points in between. Let's start talking about them. First up, Cartoon Network has announced that Tiny Toons Looniversity will be premiering on September 9th. I was trying to think what word to use, because it is premiering, but it's reimagined now. This is like the remaking of Tiny Toons, and I'm just...